What's up, peeps? It's your boy Trey, Swish back at it again. Welcome to the Ether. And I have been thinking about it. What game am I going to play next? What game? And I've been thinking, I always wanted to play Stellar Blade. I was so hyped for its release. I thought the gameplay looked sick. The art style looked awesome. So I want to understand why and should I buy it, honestly. So let's get into this. We're going to react to this video. It's titled Stellar Blade Before You Buy It. And let's see if this game sells me on it or not. Also, let me know why I should play it. Yeah, down below in the comment section.
With another episode of Before You Buy. That show we give you some
Reason number one
gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing.
All right,
as usual,
let's see.
Me, Jake Baldino, and today we're talking about
Jake.
Stellar Blade. We've been playing a review copy, and this footage is spoiler-free, so you know, and the gameplay was captured on PS5. This game's actually...
So we had a review copy. He is a reviewer. So we'll factor that in.
Only on PS5, actually. Published by Sony, but developed by Shift Up Corporation, a South Korean development studio previously focused on mobile games.
This reminds me of Final Fantasy a little bit.
I wasn't sure what to think going into this one. Yeah, after spending a bunch of hours with it, though, I really...
One thing that I have noticed with games with female protagonists, because this seems to be a huge subject these days, is if you have a female protagonist, she's gotta either be badass like Samus, have a suit of armor, also, or be really, really hot. It's just, yeah. And two, or three. God, I'm dyslexic and stupid. I hit my head the other day, really, really hard. I have like 5 staples right here. Third reason why people like to play as a female or will is the story's just so good. Yeah, it's just the story is for her, right? For instance, Last of Us with Ellie. That story sold a lot of people on that character. Sold that for me.
It's not perfect, and some of it feels a little phoned in.
And I'm not saying that's, you know, that's the criteria you have to have a successful video game with a female protagonist. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I feel like the mass majority of guys that have issues and want to play as a guy, or, you know, just a silent protagonist, the reasons they would, you know, make an exception are those reasons. If you have any others, let me know. But that's what I think.
The combat and the visuals are top notch. An analogy, if you humor me.
Or if the combat's good,
people, you're gonna hate this, but Stellar Blade is kind
slick.
of like one of those brand new Corvettes. Yes, they don't make them like they used to, and the design may not end up being as memorable as the classic design. You know, it just doesn't have the personality of the classic Corvette.
So is he saying it doesn't feel lived in?
It reminds you of a lot of other cars out there. But still, this new one is flashy and a good fun ride. That might sound stupid, but I wanted to get my feelings out up front. Okay. I also think if you played the demo, you haven't really seen much. I think the game significantly gets much.
I want him to talk about the story, and he's only playing a demo, but is the story really good? Because if it has a good story, I have to play it. Because the graphics look amazing,
a few more hours.
Gameplay looks really slick.
What exactly is
That's
Stellar Blade? Cool. It's an action adventure game centered
Love
around combat and some exploration, with some open-ended explorable areas, as well as a surprisingly big hub city.
I feel like this game had potential to be Game of the Year, but Wukong probably took that. To be honest, I think Wukong took that. Also, Final Fantasy VII 2 is up there. What other games do you think are going to be nominees for Game of the Year?
Now you play as Eve, a kind of designed super soldier sent down to post-apocalyptic Earth, ridden with monstrous Natibas.
Wait, that sounds really familiar. It's like the Nier games.
And she is on a quest to destroy the Alpha Natibas, the most big, bad, powerful ones. But she quickly gets wrapped up with one of the last bastions of humanity on this planet, and this whole bigger mission entails. The story, some of it is really lost in clunky performances and writing. There are some really cool ideas and some solid work.
You only played the demo. Is the final story good? Please let me know,
sometimes on display,
so close to buying this game. I don't know.
You might not find yourself really getting emotionally invested or really hooked.
Why is he walking so slow?
At least I didn't. This is, of course, a little bit more subjective. Some people are dismissing this as kind of like the poor man's Nier Automata, but like I'd push back against that. There are some moments worth experiencing.
People swear that game's fucking fire.
It ultimately just feels a bit flat and
there's so many games I need to play
compared to all the other crazy, awesome, and beautiful things going on elsewhere in this game. Namely, the combat. This is the main thing you're doing in the game, and Eve is a combat badass, and the combat is the best thing about this game. It's why I still ultimately recommend it. You have light strikes, heavy strikes, a
That's
block.
the thing, man. When you have like that's like, I love games that have that, right? The combat, but if you don't have that story element to it, it just sometimes it's that factor that makes me not finish the game. And I just don't want to waste my money. I want to play the game all the way through, you know?
And a dodge. This is how you start. You're not worrying about a stamina
ending
meter,
good, bro. Let me know.
Meter, and you are also trying to parry as much as possible to stun enemies and open them up for critical attacks. Parrying is tough, but mostly fair. Nailing
Looks satisfying.
A chain of attacks with parries feels really good.
Yeah.
Good feedback.
I like the colors.
Giant flashes and a loud clang that for
aesthetic
me just
awesome.
never really got old. Some enemies are a bit hard to read and time perfectly.
That's
so
good.
It's not like the most refined masterpiece in the world, but most enemies are really, really engaging clashes. And this is just with the basics. You're getting more combos, dash attacks.
I wonder if there's
attacks,
easy,
and
medium,
the game
hard
consistently
mode,
doles
or if
out
it's just
new
one
stuff
mode.
for you.
I hope it's just one mode.
Through a skill tree. You level up and gain points to dump into
let's
a handful of skill tree clusters that are like focused on
Dude, these vending machines remind me so much of Final Fantasy.
different character aspects. So gain more combos, better dodges and perfect parries, more energy drain. There's a lot, and most of it is meaningful. You can also respec if you want at any point, but again, it's pretty generous with points, and you're going to feel satisfied unlocking a lot consistently throughout. The game also has its own version of dealing with those pesky big enemy attacks that flash a certain color.
Ooh, yeah, show me the big boys.
Two examples here. An enemy
tire
attack
on his head.
flashes blue, and you need to time it perfectly and dodge towards them.
Little
So
Goodyear, big boy.
where your character teleports behind them and gets them vulnerable. There's also like a purpley one where when you time it right, you
like
dodge
out of
back
Left 4
perfectly
Dead.
for another cool sequence where the enemy is stunned with a weak point exposed.
Oh, they got guns?
Here, if you have it unlocked, you can pull out your gun and start shooting at that point, and it is really satisfying to pull off flawless.
The greatest game mechanic ever made. Hold X.
In motion. Kind of like in The Matrix Reloaded when Morpheus flips the car over by slicing it with his sword and then spins around and starts shooting at it. It's like that, and the gunshots work really well here. The gun itself is like your little companion drone that follows you around,
some
and when you ADS, it
jiggle
turns into
effects
a gun
going in there.
mount, and you have control over different ammo types and stuff, all which are pretty different. Now, Stellar Blade is still primarily a brawler, but this and some other like little things like limited use throwables and healing items.
Oh wait, is that coming out of her arm? Oh, so she's like a robot.
Buffs just give you a bit more strategy to slashing and blocking endlessly. And along with that,
so she's
there
a
are
cyborg.
Special big abilities dependent on meter spends mapped to holding L1 and pressing a face button or R1 and a face button. Like beta energy attacks can really help out in a pinch, and then burst attacks are usually a bit more cinematic and are worth saving for the right moment to really save your ass. There's also more the game doles out to you that I don't want to spoil, but essentially one of them, it's like more temporary power, and it's cool as hell. And it just kind of open up the world a little bit.
All right, here we go. Let's go over here.
You level up the affinity and unlock more things to buy. They'll also tell you things and just kind of open up the world a little bit. And then you have your crew members you can chat with as well. Again, a lot of this stuff can trend on the forgettable side, but there are some moments. And I think some people just might dig some characters or aspects more than me, but really,
I can see that being a possibility.
The main crux is the combat, and it just really kicks ass. I was always excited for the next encounter.
She looks like that chick from Overwatch.
Even like with a low-level enemy, because it's so satisfying. Now, Stellar Blade just feels kind of like its own thing in this department. It's not a Bayonetta. It's not like a big slasher thing. It's not a Nier. It's also not quite like a Souls RPG. It's just its own flashy, zany thing that takes elements.
Is that good or bad?
Games. And I think I really like Stellar Blade.
I can see that being bad.
Also, depending on how you play and explore, anywhere from 20 to 30 hours, but there are multiple endings and reasons to replay. So
that's cool.
That's all I'll say.
Okay, that's awesome.
Really, the gist of this game, it is fun. Stellar Blade is...
That might actually sell me on it. I love games with different endings. I don't know why, but it's just so...
like 100% old-fashioned video game fun. It might not be the most cohesive or unforgettable world, but like killing bad guys with cool graphics and some really good music and vibes with thrilling combat, sometimes that's all I really need. I don't really need to overthink things too much. So to be honest, that's a before you buy. You know how this works by now. We give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now we want to hear yours down in the comments.
Oh no, I haven't bought it yet.
Chances are, maybe you played the demo if you were interested in this. I definitely want to know what you think, but again, I think it opens up a lot after the demo. So let me know some of your shortcomings with the demo, stuff you're looking forward to. If you're even interested in the game, let's talk. If you want to hear more from me, of course, you can always find me on social media at Jake Baldino or my other YouTube channel. It's my name, Jake Baldino. But if this video helped you out, steered you in one direction,
I wonder how this game ends, man. I wonder if they're able to have a sequel or not.
We would appreciate that. Thank you. But if you're new, consider subscribing because we put out videos every single day. But that's it. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, that's it. So did this sell me on buying the game? No, it did not. It did not. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I'm wondering, and I feel like I have to get it just to experience it, but I don't know, man.
That's enough excitement for one day.
I don't know. People said it was like potentially game of the year, so that makes me like want to buy it like really bad because I want to play every single game that's supposed to be game of the year, right? And I got such a short time to do so. Oh man. All right, that's a video. I reacted to it. I hope you enjoyed that. And obviously majority of y'all that are watching this probably have already played the game. This is, you know, way after the game launched. And so yeah, there's new DLC coming out for it. I reacted to that. So that's intriguing. Very smart business move on their end. But yeah, I don't even know what that DLC even looks like. It like makes me wonder, like, what? Like, I guess they're in the same universe. I don't know. So my name is Trey Swish. This is the Ether. I'm really happy that you watched to this point. Go check out some other videos. Sub if you haven't. Bro, I am so happy with what we're doing over here. So yeah, love y'all and have a good one. Deuces.